Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, and for the first time ever, I'll be doing a monthly wrap-up of all of the books that I read in the month of August. And also you can say hi to Pushkin. This is my pup. He is my life, amazing. But really he's like my spirit animal. If I was a dog or any animal, I literally would be this animal. He's exactly like me. Sorry. Anyways, back to the monthly wrap up. I'll be just listing all of the books that I read in August, and I'll just give my thoughts briefly on each of them. So I read 9 books, and my favorite, I'll just say it now, was Where the Crawdads Sing. Anyways, let's get into it. Here are my 9 books that I read in the month of August. Okay, so the first book that I read was The Lightning Thief, the first Percy Jackson book. So I read like the first 2 or 3 books of the series way back in high school. I think my little brother was reading them and I took the first few, but I never finished the series, and I've heard such great things that I really want to, so I decided to just do a whole reread of all of them. And I started with the first one. It was basically kind of how I remembered. It was really quick and fun, and predictable, but not in a bad way. Yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed the Percy Jackson book. They're obviously like written for a younger audience, but I don't think that makes them any less interesting. And I really enjoy the Greek mythology that is mentioned. I love all of the gods and goddesses. I think that's a really cool part of it. It won't be a Harry Potter for me, but I liked it. I gave it 4 stars, I think. Okay, so the second book that I read was The Bridge Kingdom. I liked it. I'm a sucker for enemies to lovers, and that's exactly what this was. It was an enemies to lovers, kind of like a forced marriage kind of story. Some parts felt a little bit drawn out to me, but the ending really picked up and it left off on a cliffhanger. So I'm really excited for the second one, and I think I gave it a 4 stars. So the next book that I read was Agnes at the End of the World. This one is kind of like a utopia dystopia book. It's very focused on faith and religion, but not just that, it's kind of a coming of age story and an apocalypse story. It's action packed. It's basically about a girl, Agnes, who has been raised in this cult essentially, and she doesn't know anything about the outside world, and she doesn't know that the outside world has literally basically gone to crap. There's like this outbreak. There's essentially zombie-esque like creatures and humans that are attacking everyone, and cities are on lockdown. And so she escapes this cult only to find out that the whole world is being destroyed. And that's kind of the premise of the story. It was pretty good. It was different. I think I gave it a 3 or 4 stars. Let me check. I gave it a 4 stars. I gave it a 4 stars. So my next read was The Betrothed, and coming into this, I told myself that I wouldn't really be super negative when I was talking about books or, doing any book reviews. And I don't really like doing book reviews, which I think I mentioned, because I honestly don't like critiquing, but I'm already gonna have to break this rule, and I feel really bad, but I have to be honest. I hated The Betrothed. I gave it 2 stars, but it really could have been a 1-star read, and I've never read anything else by her. So I know a lot of people love the Selection series and told me to give that one a chance, which I'm willing to. I'm mainly curious. And yeah, this one honestly could have been one that I didn't even finish reading. The only reason that I did was because it was so short, and I was waiting to see if anything at all happened to make it redeemable, or, I don't know, but I hated the ending. I hated so much about it, and again, I feel really bad, but I didn't like the plot. I didn't think that it was interesting or fascinating. I couldn't connect with the characters. The main character was super annoying to me. I hated the way everyone spoke. It was supposed to be set in this, like, to me, old-timey setting with a court and a king, and the way people were talking was the way you would hear like a teenager talk, or someone like in middle school talk now, even to adults. So it felt very strange to me. The dynamic of the characters didn't work. I didn't feel any romantic connection between the supposed love interests. So yeah, it was a big disappointment for me. I just couldn't find many redeemable things about it. So that's that. So the next was from Blood and Ash, and I heard such amazing things about this. Everyone was obsessing over this book lately. Like, I was seeing it everywhere. They're saying if you liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, you need to pick this up. And I don't know, I still have like mixed feelings about it. I gave it 3 stars, but so the last maybe like 20 to 30% of the book were amazing and things kind of picked up. Some of the things were a little bit predictable once you read up to a certain point, but I did enjoy the ending and I'm excited to read the next book. But I will say that the whole first half was a little bit too slow for me. Some parts just dragged on, and the world building was a little bit confusing at first. I feel like we were given a lot of information and a lot of things were just stated but not described, so it was kind of difficult to put the world together at first. But that's about it. I'm still looking forward to the next one though. The next read I also gave 3 stars, and that was Star Daughter. This one was in my Outcrate box this past month, and I don't know, it was good, but it was nothing special. And I really liked reading about some Hindu mythology and the other mythology that she came up with, and I enjoyed the premise and the idea of, you know, someone being a star or half star and what that would look like, because I haven't seen that before, I don't think. But there were some parts and some things that could have been done a little bit better to make it more of like that oomph. So my next read was They Both Die at the End. This one I gave 4 stars, and I really liked it. It was kind of what I expected it to be when I went into it, which, I mean, the title says everything. They both die at the end, so it's not, you know, a surprise. And going into it, you already know what's going to happen. You know the main characters won't make it, but I don't think the story is really about that. It's more of like the build-up and both the hope and the heartbreak, and I thought it was really beautiful. Really, it's quick and easy to read too, so that's good. So the next book is my only 5-star read of the month, and it was Where the Crawdads Sing. I don't even know how to describe this. The plot was good, but you know, nothing too crazy. So what made it a 5-star for me was just really the way it was written, the atmosphere, the tone. It was super haunting. It felt very poetic. The way that the author described nature was incredible, and it was like a murder story, part coming of age story, and I don't know, it had a lot of metaphors. It was just beautiful. It was beautiful to read, and I felt so connected to the characters, and the imagery was just so vivid that it really sucked you in, and I felt like I was in that world, and that's what made it a 5-star for me. And finally, Little Fires Everywhere. I've seen people obsessing about the show, and I know a lot of people really love this book. I gave it a 4 stars. I think that it was missing a few elements to make it a 5-star read for me. The best thing about the book were the characters. I loved the characters, the way they connected, the families, the way that this town and the society was portrayed. But the ending, I don't know how I feel about the ending. It felt a little lacking to me in a sense, and I don't know, it wasn't that crazy. Like, there weren't insane twists. I went into it expecting like there were going to be a lot of twists and a lot of crazy things, and I don't think it really was that. It was more subtle, but it really was about the dynamics of the families, and that's what made it good. But anyways, that was it. That was my month of August reading. And in September, right now I started Lovely War, and then I'm about to hopefully get my hands on Blood and Honey, because I've been waiting for this one for like a year now, ever since I read Serpent and Dove. So I'm really looking forward to that in September. But thank you for watching, and until next time.